observer close to my base, so there's that. A bit behind on supply depots, unfortunately, so a bit sloppy there. Trying to add some depots now, catch up on supply, but yeah, very unfortunate. When you're low on supply, it's a good idea to start upgrading things, but I think I've upgraded most of the main things at this point. Time to do a little bit more harassment of mine layage with the vultures. Now, if you guys know this map very well, you'll know that there's an expansion that you can take at the top right, so I'm sending an SCV over there to do that right now. In the meantime, queuing up some more vaults, and time to do a little bit more harassment, I think. And looks like the Dragoons aren't too far off. Finally got a little bit more support there with my tanks, and scanning there because I was expecting him to have an observer nearby, and it looks like I've spotted one. Oh no! It's actually the shuttle coming in as well, and hopefully making him pay for that zealot bomb that he's trying to pull off there. In the meantime, getting some macro going down. Finally got some factories in tow. Now that I've got the third base, it's time to add a lot of factories and keep going with production. Taking quite a lot of SCVs off over there because I think my main is the base that is most saturated with SCVs, and it looks like he has had his third for a while now. Actually, I might have been wrong about that saturation. Bringing some from my natural over to the main just so that the SCVs are equally spread. Going for the starport because I'm going to need that to get to the science facility so that I can get to level 2 weapons. It's going to be very useful. At this point, just trying to keep up with everything. This is the stage in the game where there's a lot of multitasking to do, a lot of stuff to perform, so trying to stay on top of that. And it looks like there's a bit of a fight breaking out over here. He's finally decided to clear some mines out, so just expanding the tank line further down, so that I can actually cover that area. It looks like he's pushing in, but thinks better of it. Not really a good situation where you can push in. And again, scanning, looking for any observers now that my Goliaths are nearby. And looks like I've blocked off that entrance, so I can go for a fourth base now, and that will really help me secure macro advantage. Gonna do some more scanning around just to see if he's gone for any quick carriers or anything like that. Doesn't look like he has in any of the usual spots, and I know that he hasn't got an expansion towards the sort of bottom right corner of the map, the 3 expansions down there, because I've got my vulture scanning all that. So the plan really here is to just keep slow pushing while producing a lot of units and upgrading them, and sticking with that fourth base. And because he's not putting any pressure on me, I'm not really too worried about what's going on here in terms of his forces. So time now to sneak forward a bit. I think I've got plenty of mines down and plenty of time to siege back up again if he does push in right now. He's got too far to go if he wanted to really put the pressure on there. So, and just to be careful about that, scanning around, making sure nothing is going on. Looks like he sent in a Dark Templar there for some reason. Guess to mind drag, but yeah, really very little pressure here from my opponent. So it's time to expand this slow push. A bit slow on the macro though. That's why they call it a slow push, because I'm slow with my macro. Well, that's not what they call it that, but that's probably a good reason for me to be calling it that. And it looks like he's deciding to come in range here. Maybe thinking better of it, but I need to keep my vultures back a little bit, try to hold ground them. Still no observers, so maybe that's one reason why he's a bit afraid to sort of advance at the stage, is because he knows, well, he doesn't really know how many troops I've got there. No observers on top of my tanks, so he doesn't really know how much firepower I've got back there. So that's one thing discouraging him. And really gaining a lot of unit count here, so it's soon it's going to be time to split all my guys up into groups and push forward. Going to do a bit of scouting here with the vultures, noticing a big clump of zealots there. Looks like my opponent doesn't have them on hold position or anything, so he's let them go, and he's probably doing some macroing while this is happening, and losing tons of zealots, so that's a bit sloppy. Able to pick off the High Templar as well, so quite fortunate. That gives me a bit of an edge, which is fortunate. So what I want to do now is to start grouping my guys up before long, and getting stuff going, putting down some supply depots, trying to get to max capacity at this stage. I've got the fourth base up and running, so I'm going to transfer some SCVs over there. And
forces are under attack.
Looks like he's finally taken out that vulture, which was scanning his potential base locations. And yeah, now that he's got his dragoons further down there, though, I'm going to take advantage of that by moving forward to the center of the map, controlling it. if he decides to flank me, I'll just hit one of the flanks, and hopefully I'll have mines on one side, so that he won't really be able to do too much damage with that flank, and I should be able to flatten him with a lot of tanks. I've got quite a lot of supply anyway, so gathering everybody up and just sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A style stuff before long, and it shouldn't be much of a problem. Still, yeah, he's still got a Dragoons down there, but there's not many of them. So what I'm going to do is send all of the troops down there initially and wipe them out. Then I'm going to head back to his base and engage the rest of his troops. And there should be much less of them if he loses like 8 or 9 Dragoons like that. So here we go. He's deciding not to pull it. Well, finally pulling back his Dragoons. A bit late on that, but already taking a lot of damage. And finally moving his flanking from the other side with the Zealots, but too many Vultures nearby. And he hasn't got the rest of his troops. And predictably running through a whole bunch of mines when he tried to do that. So, yeah, things are looking good. It looks like he's maybe made some. Well, he's made a lot of macro mistakes. I know that much, but yeah, I was really expecting a lot more pressure. Again, noticing some high Templars out there, so just trying to gather up a few Volts and deal with them. And now time to unsiege the tanks and just move full bore in. Taking a storm right in the center there, but not too worried about that. He's lost a lot more troops than I have, and I've got a lot more coming from the whole sort of factory line there. Unfortunately, sieging some tanks up while that was going on. Multitasking side of this is a bit of a pain, but if you're a good player, it's really no trouble. And I'm a bit rusty here, so that's a bit of a problem. And just sieging up tanks right next to his natural, ready to slow push my way in, and there you have it. Doesn't look like there's too much he's got left here to stop me, so I'm not really sure what he was doing. Maybe he was trying to tech to something, had some kind of secret plan. But yeah, it looks like it's been a fairly comfortable victory for here for the Terrans. He's got some DTs trying to kill the tanks there. Very annoying, guys. It's one of those sort of Protoss strategies where you try to distract the Terran player with DTs while they're trying to do their macro, and they end up doing a lot of damage. But all you got to do is just pop back and listen out for the sort of the sound of the DT swiping this warp blade or whatever it is, and just do a scan and you're fine. No carriers popping out of nowhere yet, so looks like we're alright. This guy's a big fan of carriers, by the way. And looks like we're able to move in and swipe the rest of the natural. So I can't actually remember how much longer this particular game goes on for, but I know that this is the end of it pretty much. And sorry it wasn't an extremely exciting game, but I just thought I'd talk you guys through a bit of a TVP macro game. Didn't really, I mean, I'm not going to say I played well this game. I played, you know, I did a build. I did a lot of macro. Didn't do too much micro. Didn't do a lot of multitasking, but it's just real sort of basic stuff on Medusa. And I know a lot of you guys just like watching FPVODs for the sake of it, so... And where did those Dragoons come from? I'm getting splattered because the tanks were on attack move and just melted like that. Yeah, still haven't got a science facility, unfortunately, so I'm going to need one. And the 3 factory shops, most Terran players just use 2 factory shops and just mass Goliaths out of everything else. And there's I built a single Wraith. The reason for that is that I was just worried about shuttles showing up in places where I didn't have a Goliath, but yeah, my opponent complaining about having too much minerals and gas left over, and that's quite hard. I mean, StarCraft is a difficult game. Unless you're a very good player, it's difficult to keep your minerals and gas low in a large scale game, and we're both sort of not very efficient with macroing, but you know, there you have it. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. It wasn't, again, you know, wasn't too exciting, but I was happy to